Hi guys! There is no doubt Gordon Ryan is the best grappler on the planet, and that's because he keeps evolving when people start to beat his prior domination area, as with passings and leg locks. Currently, his mount is exceptional, and that's a huge part of his success story. So today we are going over his secrets for world domination, as well as how it potentially could be beaten, and some of these I wasn't even aware of before this project. So his first preference to get to mount is by reaching a chest-to-chest situation with the opponent, where he can either control the far side arm or both the arms of the opponent, as well as the head. This is usually achieved from half guard, but could also be from side control. He then connects his arms behind the opponent's back in either an S grip or preferred a butterfly grip, depending on the size of the opponent, before he clears the knee line and passes to a low mount. The reason to stay in low mount is that moving up too quickly puts you at risk to getting swept. So first he needs to secure and maintain his low mount position, and that is done by tucking his feet under the opponent's butt to block them from straightening out their legs and shrimping or elbow escape. This is also aided by arm and head control that disables the opponent from turning into the underhook arm side. The second thing to look out for is to not get bridged, and that's mitigated by kicking the opponent's legs if they get too close, as well as keeping space between both athletes' hips, as it removes a lot of power not staying connected to each other. After the position is secured, he puts more focus on the underhook and arms than he does on the head control. And if he doesn't already have arm control and the opponent tucks their hands to their chest, he goes for a cross grip on both wrists with his own palms facing up and forces one arm to the mat to secure the arm. Then he works the underhook upwards until the opponent's elbow is aligned with their head. When one arm is secured, he can extend his knees to put more pressure, but also get a wider base, since the opponent will get triangled if they put their free arm down. He can then cross grab behind the back to the armpit, from where he can climb to the mid mount, put his heels on the hip bones, lower his hips and start to smother, or do the same process for the second arm by underhooking it and pushing it as high as possible, and add force by raising his own hips. If he feels threatened during the process to get double underhooks with head control, he usually steps back into a half guard again and starts the process over instead of taking any risks. What many opponents does out of desperation is giving up their backs, and since Gordon already has at least one arm across their face, he can pace the transition and secure the back take before going for the submissions from there, and that's why we see so many of his finishes from the back rather than from the mount. If the opponents haven't given their backs, isn't tired enough, or the time starts running out, he climbs to a high mount with both arms collected and goes for an armbar. He can also pull their arms across their face and force a back take. So, how could we deal with this? As always, the sooner we can stop a bad thing from happening, the better it is. So not allowing him to get half guard or side control is the best way, but of course that's easier said than done. So we need to find ourselves being mounted by Gordon Ryan, and there seems to be 3 techniques that work better than others. And the first one is getting to the side and then trying to lift his leg up into our half guard. The second is cross pushing his hips and bridge to create enough distance to scramble out from the position. And the third option is keeping, as we can see Gary Tonon doing versus Uri Simos. Though my take is that to stop the current form of Gordon Ryan, people have to find a way to either stop him from entering half guard or becoming better at controlling him from there.